But okay, so did you go to a private school? Were you homeschooled, or did you went to public?
So when we were overseas, I was raised in the British school system when I was really young. That's why Canadians think I have an accent, because a lot of people here assume this is a Canadian accent. It's not. It's the leftovers from being like a few years in the British school system overseas. And then I was in the public school in Canada, and then public all the way along.
Were you ever exposed to porn?
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, I think fortunately, I'm not your typical guy in that is not my struggle and proclivity. And I think I'm very blessed. I have other vices that I need to submit to the cross of Christ. But that one in particular isn't the one that I struggle with, but it is prolific in our world today.
Yeah. A lot of people deal with that. And, it's when I was again, military. We had a guy in the corner that had 1,000 VHS tapes of all the different kind of porns in the military. He was the coolest guy on campus. Everybody wanted to go find this big sergeant that would put up, and you would hear the craziest noise. You always knew he had something going on. And he was a rock star for a lot of guys at that time. And then I come out and I run an insurance company and a business nationally, and I hear, hey, man, I'm really dealing with porn. I'm having a hard time with porn. What do I do with this? What do I do with that? And it was kind of like weird for you to, and a lot of people right now, the level of accessibility, what you're seeing, expectation, how does somebody that's a young man, maybe it's the how, and maybe it's also the why. How does somebody fight it, and why should somebody fight it? If you were to talk to a young 16-year-old boy, 14-year-old boy, or 18-year-old man, what would you say to him on, the negative effects of porn on them, and why should they do whatever they can to not consume it?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are multiple layers to that, in that the scientific data on porn changing your brain is hugely problematic, in that it changes your dopamine receptors, and that it's very easy to become addicted. I think especially in our day and age. I think it was a little bit different, when you were growing up, Patrick, and then when I was younger, where before the onslaught of the internet, porn was something that you kind of had to pursue in a way that was a little bit shameful. The magazines or the video shops.
We had LA Express, we had Hustler, we had Playboy magazine. I'm trying to see what we had. That's really that's what we had.
Well, and I think the difference between that and what we're dealing with now is that there's just so much now. It's so accessible, and it's designed in a way where it's quick. So it's designed to, I once heard porn described as, it's like the highlight reel on ESPN. You see soccer, for example, and the crazy moves and the kicks, and you just watch that and you go, wow, soccer is an exciting sport. And then you go to a match, and you're like, why hasn't anybody scored in 2 hours? And so it gives you an unrealistic expectation of what sex should actually be, because sex is something that's good and something that's beautiful and something that is God ordained. But when we're given this kind of faulty, very dramatized perspective on what sex is in pornography, it changes the way that we understand ourselves and others in a very dangerous and not just problematic, but actually harmful way in shaping how you view other people. I've talked to young men who struggle with porn, and a lot of them struggle with looking at women as not being objects because of the way it tunes your brain. That's a terrible thing, to look at someone else as an object. We used to use things and love people, and now we use people and we love things. And I think that's a dangerous shift in our society, in that there are, apart from the fact that I think that, porn is sinful, lust is sinful, and is going to have implications that are going to harm you spiritually, that are going to have echoes that go into eternity. I think even if you move that aside, although I think that that's the most important part of the conversation, the health aspects of the way it's going to shape your thinking as a young man the way it's going to shape your perspectives on discipline and how you view the people around you, how you're going to respect them, I think that that's dangerous. And we see in our society in that, like, a lot of, I mean, I think this is a problem in places like Asia a little bit more. I don't know if you've seen the statistics on places like Korea where like
sexless society.
Sexless society, right. Yeah. And part of that is porn, is that they're getting this like dopamine hit. They're getting the highlight reel. And so they don't feel like they don't need to pursue the actual connection. And sex is a spiritual thing. And so it's meant to be created. Like the first promise, the first covenant that God made when he created humanity was that he gave woman to man and man to woman to be unified, to become one, to reflect that image of God. You know, both men and women are symbols of the image of God. And when they come together in unity, that's the perfect reflection of what the image of God is. And so there's a spiritual component that I think we understand in what I was talking about before with rape. There's something that's sacred about that we know is when you see these OnlyFans models talk on these podcasts and they're just talking about their body count and how many times they're having sex with different guys and
who's that one girl that isn't there a girl that just said 1,000 or 100? I don't know what we may have talked about her on the podcast.
Yeah.
Slept with 100 men.
Lily Phillips.
Yeah, I mean,
in a day.
This kind of thing breaks my heart because this is someone who is an image bearer, and this is defilement, right? And I think even I saw a clip of afterwards they were trying to interview her, and she just breaks down crying. If sex is just like any other thing you can just give away, why would it impact her?
Do you remember what she cried about?
No.
Yeah, she was crying. It was such a weird thing on why she was crying. It was a, Rob, just make sure you're not playing a clip like last time. You know, is this a safe video?
Yes, I believe there's no nudity.
Go ahead, Rob.
Oh dear.
I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do this. And like, it just, sometimes you'd like disassociate and be like, you know, like it's not like normal sex at all. In my head right now, I can think of like 5, 6 guys, 10 guys that I remember.
That's unbelievable.
And that's it.
Do you know what she just said, Rob?
I don't know, it's just weird, isn't it? Like,
out of the 100 guys, she can only remember 5 or 6 of them. Keep playing it.
I wouldn't have known I've done 100, you know. But yeah. I think that was kind of the hard part, is like conversing with them and like when they'd kind of be like, oh, like we've only had 2 minutes or 3 minutes and you said 5 on the message.
Yeah, I mean, you see
the
that.
Emptiness.
You see that in her demeanor, in her voice. Like, this is a publicity stunt, but it has ramifications for her as a person, which are sad, which are a picture of brokenness, because you shouldn't. This isn't sex. This isn't what sex is meant to be. This is an abuse of what the goodness of something is meant to be. And we all understand when something is abused, right? Like whether it's a worldview system or an idea, or when other people are taken advantage of. This is not what it's meant to be. And you can see that very starkly in the way that she is reacting.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when you see this. I think one of the best breakdowns I saw on porn was from somebody that you least expect me quoting, was Pamela Anderson. Pamela Anderson explains to her this interview she's doing, and she says, look, when I talk to my boys, I prepare them about porn. Says, because it gives you an expectation. Says, I used to, because she says, I'm guilty of it. Some may say I come from that. I maybe even started that because of my tape or whatever she talks about. And then she says, I can't tell you how many times I was with men. I'm like, why are you doing this? This is not what I want. I'm not. It just gave you a different image of it.
Yeah.
And Pamela Anderson is not a pastor, by the way, if you're wondering. Like, she's not preaching out there.
I don't think I was confused on that matter.
No, I just want to make sure qualified for you so you don't go out there and, seeing what she has to say. But okay, nowadays, more than ever, the brand you wear reflects and represents who you are. So for us, if you wear a Future Looks Bright hat or a Valuetainment gear, you're telling the world, I'm optimistic. I'm excited about what's going to be happening, but you're a free thinker. You question things. You like debate. And by the way, last year, 120,000 people got a piece of Future Looks Bright gear with Valuetainment. We have so many new things. The cufflinks are here. New Future Looks Bright. This is my favorite, the green one. Just yesterday, somebody placed an order for 100 of these. If you watch the PBD podcast, you got a bunch to choose from. White ones, black ones. If you smoke cigars and you come to our cigar lounge, we have this high quality lighter cutter and a holder for the cigars. We got sweaters with the Valuetainment logo on it. We got mugs. We got a bunch of different things. But if you believe the future looks bright, if you follow our content and what we represent with Valuetainment, with PBD Podcast, go to vtmerch.com. And by the way, if you order right now, there's going to be a special VT gift inside just for you. So again, go to vtmerch.com, place your order, tell the world that you believe the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.